everyone, welcome back or welcome to my YouTube channel. If you don't know me, hello, my name is Sharon and I am a legacy-free Nia main with nearly 8,000 hours in Dead by Daylight. On this channel we do YouTube videos featuring montages, guides, and like today's video, tier lists. I hope you enjoy the content. For today's video, I've decided to make a tier list video showing you which killers I enjoy going against the most versus the killers who I think are the least enjoyable. Let's get started with the video, shall we? So I'm really excited to get started with this video because tier lists are really fun to make and I'm always really curious as what everyone thinks of my choices. As mentioned, I'm going to be basing this tier list of my own preferences on which killers I think are the most fun versus the killers that are the least fun. And I will also give you a bit of reasoning as to why this is the case. Once you're done with the video, let me know which choice you agreed with the most and the least. I'm curious. Alright, let's get started with the tier list. I've decided that I'm just gonna pick a random killer icon out of the entire list and drag them to where I think they belong on my fun vs not fun tier list. Let's start with Freddy. Freddy for me is probably an A. I don't think he's the most fun, but I think he's pretty fun, especially since they nerfed Forever Freddy. If you don't know what Forever Freddy is, it was a mixture of add-ons and perks of slowing down progress in the entire game. Like, it was nearly impossible to get generators done against the Forever Freddy, and it was just really unfun. But since they nerfed that, you don't really see that anymore, and I think Freddy overall is pretty fun to go against. I like his snares. I like that he, his snares can make you lose out on a chase. He has a great map pressure because he can teleport to generators. And yeah, I like that he can force you away from some loops, and if you decide to stay, then you might get caught, or maybe you're lucky and you make a great play. So overall, I think Freddy is pretty darn fun. Alright, then let's go with Trapper. I think Trapper probably is in the middle for me. I don't think he's great. I always am surprised by his speed for whatever reason. You would think after playing this game since the beta, I would get used to like Trapper's speed, but like I really don't. Every time I play against him, I'm so shocked at how fast he is. And honestly, he's not faster than majority of the killers, but he just feels faster, and I don't know what it is. But Trapper overall, he's alright. He's not the best killer. He's probably one of the worst killers in the game, let's be honest. But I do enjoy his trapping system. I do enjoy being scared, when you walk into the grass or you're vaulting a window and you're like, oh god, is there gonna be a trap there or not? And sometimes there is, sometimes they're not. It's really exciting. It's like a gamble. And yeah, I quite like that. Yeah, I would say he's in the middle for me. Not bottom tier, not high tier, just a nice little middle ground is where I think he belongs on my preference. Let's get going with the clown. I'm gonna bring the clown to C. I don't hate going against him, but I don't enjoy going against him either. Like, there are killers that I much more prefer over him. There are killers that I much more prefer under him. So I think C is fine. I don't really like anti-looping killers, which is ironic because Freddy is, with his snares, he can be. But I feel like it's less obnoxious than the clown. And overall, the vision that, you get when you get affected by the gas is kind of annoying. So yeah, for me, clown, sorry, but you're gonna be C. You don't do it for me, but I don't hate you either, right? So yeah, C for me it is. Okay, we're gonna go with the Oni. I truthfully love the Oni. I have found a new love for him recently. I never felt too strong about him until like the few past weeks or so. I really enjoy him. Especially his power, like, it's scary, it's terrifying, it's really exciting when you do manage to juke him, and honestly, when he does pull it off, like hit you with his power, it feels very satisfying regardless because it takes a lot of skill in my own opinion. Mind you, I haven't played Oni ever, but like I feel like it kind of takes skill, so I really enjoy him. I enjoy looping him. I enjoy getting chased by him. I enjoy the scary factor that he brings in when he goes into the rage mode. It's just overall a very fun killer, and honestly, For me, S tier, he belongs there. Yeah, I'm gonna put him there. I might come back to that later on in the video, but I don't think I will, honestly. So yeah, Oni, S tier, first S tier killer we've gotten. Alright, let's get going with the Hag. Hag for me. Yeah, Hag, I think I will have to put Hag in... I'm debating between B and C. I think I don't want to judge killers by how people play them often, but it's really hard to not do that against the Hag because no one plays Hag differently. Everyone plays the Hag the same. They camp the hook with the traps and that's basically it. And it's just really unenjoyable. I'm conflicted. B or C, where do I want you? I'm gonna, honestly, I'm so conflicted. I don't know what to do. If I were live right now, I would ask chat for help, but I honestly don't really know what to do. So I'm gonna be putting Hag on C, but I might come back on that. It's hard to look past on how people play on Hag, and it's kind of annoying how Hag can force you out of loops, but it's also kind of exciting, and you do gain a lot of distance when that happens. So like, it's I don't know. She has a scare factor too, which I quite like because I do like scary killers a lot, but it's just so hard to look past how people play on her. I don't know. I might come back on that, but for now, I guess I will drop her to a C. I don't hate going against her. She doesn't belong in D for me, but I don't know if I can really put her higher than a C, honestly. So C for now, we will keep her there. Alright, let's get going with Pinhead. So Pinhead for me is gonna probably be put on an A or a B. I'm debating between A and B. I don't see him that often anymore, and if they, don't get me wrong, if they play like with their box, which a lot of Pinheads do, he belongs in D. I'm gonna just say that if they play with their bugs where it's impossible to do the bugs and they will always hunt you down with the bugs, it is the most infuriating playstyle ever. It's so boring. It makes me want to DC, even though I don't DC out of games ever. But let's just say he doesn't play according to his bugs. I kind of want to put him on A. I really enjoy his mechanic. He kind of feels like a Huntress for me. You have the potential of dodging his hook. It's kind of exciting. It's fun guessing which way he's gonna aim. It kind of feels like a Huntress to me, and I really enjoy the Huntress. Spoiler alert for when I go towards the Hunters, I suppose. But yeah, I'm gonna put him on A if they don't play according to their box, because I do enjoy the dodging system. I do like the guessing game, and I think there's plenty of potential of outplay on both sides. I think killers can outplay a survivor. I think survivors can outplay his ability. So yeah, I will put him on A. I like him, once again, if they don't play according to his box. So considering we have no killer in D tier yet, I'm gonna pick a killer that I think belongs in D tier for me, and it's Miss Spirit herself. I hate the Spirit. A lot of people know this about me. I think she's a stupid character design. I will give you that she did recently get nerfed and she did become more bearable to play against, but as someone who doesn't use a proper headset, it's still sometimes very hard to guess where she's coming from. And yes, you can say, Sharon, that's your own fault. You should just use a headset. And to that I say, but this is my tier list, so who cares? If you like Spirit, just play. Like, you know, play against her, have fun. But I don't. I think she's stupid. I don't like the whole not having a chance against her. Once again, her nerf did make that more possible right now, but I still don't enjoy her. I think she's not fun. So there you have it. Our first D tier killer, Spirit. You will stay there probably forever. Alright, let's get Pyramid Head in. I'm gonna give Pyramid Head... I'm struggling again between B and C, because there are things that I like about Pyramid Head. I don't know why I keep saying Pinhead. There are things I like about Pyramid Head, but there are things I really dislike. So it's like, it's like hard for me because like I do, if I want to put him in B, right? When it comes to his power, being able to like, you know, try to guess where he's gonna aim at so you can dodge it, and it's really exciting. I like that. It's a 50-50 guess, right? I like that a lot. But what I don't like about Pyramid Head is that he can use his power to catch up on you and uncancel it, and barely, it has no like cooldown on it, and he can just M1 you. And that's really frustrating for me. Like, it's not enjoyable, it's not outplayable, it's really infuriating because he just basically gets a free M1 on you just because he gets sped up by his ability that he didn't even choose to use at the end. So I don't like that about him. But I will put him in B purely because I do like the guessing game. I do like, you know, having to play around his power. So I will put him in B just for that. I'm gonna try to look past my annoyance onto this killer and give him a nice middle ground as well. Because once again, I do like his power apart from that one thing I mentioned. Alright, let's get Mr. Wraith in here. So Wraith, for me, is probably gonna be put into the A or B for me. They did nerf him a little bit, so I think I'm gonna give him an A. I do enjoy, you know, the fact he can sneak up on you in certain areas of the map. The fact that he speeds up, so it's fun to try to 360 that or hide in the corner to dodge his ability, which I often do too. That's quite exciting. Before his nerf, he was a little bit too strong, but I also didn't mind it because he's been, you know, so undervalued for so many years. So it was kind of nice to see him, you know, be really strong. So yeah, I'm gonna give him an A. I don't think he's the funnest to go against, but I do think he is quite up there. I do enjoy going against him. So A it is. Alright, let's get Legion in here. I know a lot of people hate Legion, but I honestly, same with the Oni, recently I've been really enjoying going against the Legion. I think his power is fun. I think it's fun to try to like out-juke him when he fast falls a window, and then you go like sneaking like behind him, and then they often don't realize that and they run away from you, and it's really funny. And I think like his power isn't really that strong. He's still really a loopable killer, so I enjoy that. I do think he's really fun, and I do, you know, I don't mind when I'm getting stomped by a Legion either. Like, I don't mind when I'm consistently in the mending state. Like, that doesn't really bother me anymore. It used to a lot, but after they changed the Legion, I quite like him. I'm gonna give him an S tier. You might think that's overreacting. Perhaps he does belong in A, but honestly, I really like Legion, so I'm gonna put him in S tier, which I'm actually kind of surprised by myself. Alright, let's go with Demogorgon. So this breaks my heart to put him here, but I think I must put him on C. And that really breaks my heart because there's so many memes around Demogorgon, and he has so many cute names like Demodogo, and I really do adore him so much. I might move him to B. I don't know. I do adore him a lot, but I also think he's super obnoxious because one, his hitbox is massive when he dashes onto you. Like, normally with killers like the Oni or the Billy, or I don't know, the dash of the pig, you can kind of like spin around it and avoid it in some ways, if that makes sense. But the Demogorgon's hitbox is so massive that you don't really, it's not really doable most of the time. But yeah, I also don't really like how he has the same system as Pyramid Head, where he can open his mouth, making you think he's gonna dash, and he canceled it, and then he just M1'd you because like you typically will get out of the way of his dash, which means you're pathing away from whatever loop you're at, and then he cancels it and just M1's you, so it's very unsatisfying. So decisions. Do I really think Demogorgon is worse than the clown and the hag is the question. Like, do I think he's not worse, but like on the same level? Or do I think he's on the same level as Pyramid Head and Trapper? I'm gonna put him back. This is the first time I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put him back and get back on that later on the video after I've done all the other killers, because I kind of want to get a better understanding of what I like and dislike of all the killers, so I can make a better judgment on that one. So let's get back to that later on. Okay, let's get going with Doctor. So Doctor, for me, is probably gonna be on a C. I don't hate him the most, but I don't enjoy going against him either. I think his shocking can be really obnoxious. If you're going against a good doctor, he can pretty much stop you from vaulting at any time, at any cost, and you will have to either drop down the pallet instantly if you even have the chance, or you're just screwed. It's not a really enjoyable killer. It's kind of obnoxious. I don't hate him, but I don't like him either, so I'm gonna go to C. I think he is quite up to the same level as Hag and Clown, but not as much as the Spirit and the future D tier killers that are gonna be put in there. So yeah, I think C for me is where Doctor is gonna go. Let's get started with Plague. I will probably put Plague on the B tier, and people might be like, why? You're always hurt with the Plague, or you have to cleanse. Now, if you watch my stream, you know that I run around hurt most of the time anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference for me. And apart from her red puke, it is a very loopable killer, and her red puke is terrifying. So it's like, you know, either she doesn't have the red puke and I'm just gonna loop her anyways because she's like pretty loopable, or she does have the red puke and she's gonna absolutely scare the effing fluff out of you. And either way, you don't really lose. Like, I do enjoy being scared and terrified in a chase. So yeah, Play kind of brings that out to me. So I will give her a B. I don't think she's the most fun. I don't think she's the worst either. I think the middle ground with Pyramid Head and Trapper is a nice middle ground for her to be. Now let's get started with Ghostface. So Ghostface and I are having a tough relationship. I love scary killers. I love stealth killers most of the time. But Ghostface is that character that I just feel really annoyed by most of the time, because like, you make a killer that you can push out of his stalk, but then that doesn't work half of the time. So that's kind of infuriating. Like, you're literally looking at him and he just doesn't get out of his stalk, and it's very infuriating. So Ghostface for me is probably gonna be on a B or a C. I don't know, like sometimes I enjoy him, sometimes I don't. I definitely don't dislike him as much as I used to. So I think I'm gonna put him for B right now, because he has grown on me lately, like a little bit. Just a little bit. Not high enough for A or S, but just a little bit. I don't think he's like on my D or C anymore. I think I will keep him in the middle ground, because I do think he is scary. He can scare the life out of you. He, you know, is a pretty loopable killer, and yeah, it's middle again. I'm okay with that for now. And whilst we're mentioning Ghostface, let's just get straight onto Myers. I will put Myers in S tier, and I know that's weird, because you would think if you would, you know, not very like Ghostface, not hate, but not like either, that you wouldn't like Myers either. And I don't know what it is, but I always have loved Myers. I adore him. He is one of my favorite killers to go against. He's so fun. He's terrifying. He's exciting. I really like him. So he's always been part of my favorite killer list when someone asks about it on stream. So I'm gonna put him S tier. No questions, no doubt, no nothing. He's fun. I enjoy him. I wish they would make a shirtless Myers, you know, like we all do. But yeah, S tier, no questions. He's amazing. I think he's really fun. There you go. Now let's pick Blight out of this list. So Blight, honestly, I'm gonna put him C tier. I think he's a really unfun killer. I don't think he's the most unfun. I can't give him that spot. I can't put him on D tier, but I think he's really unfun. I used to love him when he first came out. I thought he was really fun. He reminded me a lot of Billy in a sense, and slowly and steady I started hating him more and more. I hate the fucking spinning. I hate the twisting, the turning. I hate his lunge. I hate how many like tries he can have. Like if he makes a mistake, he can just retry and again, and it's super obnoxious. It's like, okay, I outplayed you. Oh, JK, I haven't, because you have 2 more chances to catch up on me or to roll back to me. It's just really obnoxious. It's not enjoyable for me, which I'm really sad about, because I really enjoyed him at first and I really thought he was gonna be like my second like Billy. That spoiler, by the way, but I really thought he was gonna be a real fun killer, but I really don't like him at all. I think he's really obnoxious. So C tier for me. Doesn't belong in D tier just yet. Maybe one day he will. Maybe one day I will get so fed up out of my mind that I will put him in D tier in a new video, but for now, C tier. Don't like him, don't want to go against him. Ugh. Which, by the way, is probably a very unpopular opinion. Alright, let's pick another D tier killer, which is gonna be the Trickster. No questions asked. Everyone who watches my Twitch channel knows I hate the Trickster. Such an unfun killer. I hate him with a passion. Probably, yeah, definitely more than the Spirit. I think he's really unfun. I think he's so... don't get me wrong, I don't think he's a good killer. Like, this is not a tier list where it's like, oh, choose the best killers in this game and the, you know, the worst killers in this game. No, this is about fun. Like, if this was a tier list about strongest killers, Trickster would still be on the bottom row. He's weakest, you know, he's a really weak killer. He's just not fun. He's unenjoyable. You can dodge 6 knives and you still get hit by the next 30 that he throws at you. It's unfun. It's unenjoyable, it's unentertaining and very not interactive. It's just not enjoyable. So D tier, no questions asked. I hate him. I know a lot of people are very not PG-13 towards him, but I think he's just an unfun killer to go against, and I would love to never go against him ever again. Alright, let's get going with the Nemesis. So Nemesis for me is also a really hard choice. Like, I do enjoy the like, you know, being able to try to dodge his tentacle. That is enjoyable for me, but his zombies are really uninteractive for me. It's not fun being shoved off a generator all the time, and I know that's what like his, you know, zombies are meant to do, and it's kind of good in a sense because, you know, it wins him time and, you know, he knows where you are and yada yada yada. I get that. And I like the concept. It's just very infuriating when you're on a generator that you're gonna get shoved off. And the worst thing is, it's not even that you're gonna get shoved off for 5 seconds. No, you have to guide the zombie super far away because they aggro on you so very wildly. Like, the aggro range is sometimes so crazy. So you have to guide the zombie so far away and then walk back or run back, whatever. Run back to the generator, and you've lost so much progress, especially with Rune. Like, it's just unfun. It's infuriating. But do I really think he's more fun, like on the same level as Blight and the Clown? Probably not. I don't think he is. I think he's more fun than these 4 in the list. So I'm gonna have to put him in B, purely based off those 4 picks in C, because I just don't think he's as bad as those 4. So I guess I'm gonna put him on B, because I don't hate going against him. I don't love it. I don't hate it. So yeah, like, I guess B is like, you know, a neutral stand for me. And if I look about the other 4 that I have in B, I feel like he kind of, you know, they both, like, they all have like their annoying parts, but the other part about them is fun. So I feel like Nemesis, yeah, B it is. B it is. Alright, let's pick Mr. Deathslinger himself. So Deathslinger, ever since he came out, or a few weeks after he came out, has been my one of my least favorite killers to go against. I think he's very uninteractive. I don't like the fact that you don't have reaction time on his shooting when he tries to, you know, harpoon you. But I will say that I haven't really played against him since his nerf, and his nerf did address them. So he might be a little bit more fun to play against now, but considering I haven't played against him since his nerf, I'm still gonna put him in D tier and just say, like, prior to his nerf, he was really unfun. Once again, I didn't like how you didn't really have a reaction time to dodge his, like, his shooting. It was not fun, it wasn't interactive, so I'm gonna put him in D tier, but only because I haven't gotten against him yet after his nerf. He might be more fun to go against now. Who knows? No one plays him anymore. Everyone hates him. So, I mean, works for me, honestly. If I have to choose between a killer that I really hate and see them more, or a killer that I, you know, now is more fun and never see them, I will still take that. Like, it's fine. I don't need to see him. I have other killers to see and other killers to like, so he can stay there. D tier for now. Yeah. D tier. Getting close to the end. We have literally 7 killers left. So let's pick a fun one. Bubba. I know my viewers notice, but perhaps people who watch this don't notice, but Bubba is an S tier killer for me. And I know, you're gonna be like, what? Why? He face cams and you're dead? That's the fun of it. Honestly, it's so fun to try to, like, keep the chase going as long as you can, because you know you're gonna be dead as soon as you get caught. It's very exciting. It's very scary. It's like, it feels like almost real life, you know, like when you get caught, you're gonna die. So, like, you have to run away. You have to make it work. It's super exciting. It's a thrill, honestly. It's just enjoyable. I think he's a very loopable killer. You know, his chainsaw, some Bubbas are really good and some Bubbas really know how to use his chainsaw, but the killers that I go against, the Bubbas that I go against, aren't really good most of the time. So, like, I enjoy Bubba a lot. I really enjoy the, you know, being face cammed after I get caught. It's enjoyable. I've gotten my run in. I have no issues with that. S tier for me. I know that's probably gonna be a shock for some people, and I know that some people are gonna call me crazy for that, but that's fine. S tier Bubba, love him. Alright, let's go with the nurse. Nurse, I don't even have to think about the nurse. C tier. I don't hate her as much as these 3, but I think she is the dumbest design and behavior, like, in Dead by Daylight that behavior has made. I think she's stupid. I think, like, why make a character that goes against everything and anything in the game? It doesn't make sense. And yes, I know she requires a lot of skill. I get it, she does, and I really do applaud people who pushed through her learning curve and became godlike with her. But let's be honest, like, let's be really honest, as soon as you become godlike, the game, I don't even understand why you would have fun in this game anymore. There's no challenge, you win, that's it. There's no outbeating. Maybe with a very organized, like, godlike Survivor Friends team, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a god at this game. I don't play Survivor Friends. Mine is with viewers who are also not a god at the game. Sorry, love y'all, but we're mostly like Pepegas all running around aimlessly. But I think she's a dumb design. I will cut behavior some slack because she is one of the newest, like, the earliest killers that got unreleased. Or was she the earliest killer? Actually, I think so. I don't know if she was the first killer being released. I think, yeah, no, she is. She was, and then Myers, I'm pretty sure. So she was the first new killer to this game. She says with hesitation yet again. I think she was. Whatever, I don't know. Whatever, doesn't matter. Point is, she was one of the very first killers to this game, so behavior didn't know what they were doing at that point. So, like, you know, I will cut them some slack there, but I still think she's a dumb design, and I think she shouldn't exist in this game. It makes sense that she still does. Like, why would you remove a killer that you know, put a lot of effort in? But I think she's stupid. I think she's broken. I think, like, I'm happy I'm a low MMR, so I don't really go often against, like, really godlike nurses, but even mediocre nurses are pretty unfun. And the main thing that annoys me, right, against a nurse is not the fact that she can blink through everything. It's the fact that she doesn't even have to accurately blink onto you to hit you. Because if that was the case, I would be like, okay, fine, whatever. But no, she can just blink somewhere near you and her lunge does the next, like, does the rest. Like, it doesn't make sense. You don't even have to accurately blink. You can just blink somewhere near the vicinity of the survivor and just M1 and your lunge will attach to them and that's it. And it's just stupid. It's infuriating. I'm not gonna put her D once again because I don't dislike her as much as these three. But I do dislike her enough to give her a C. I think she's stupid. Yeah, if you're going against a bad nurse, she's fun. But I truly think she's not fun if she's good. And that's it, honestly. Yeah, C tier. There you go. So let's go with the Huntress. Huntress also, without a doubt, S tier for me. I enjoy her very much so. I think she has a nice balance. She's a strong killer in my own opinion. Not that this tier list is about strong, but I do enjoy it when a killer has the potential of snowballing and making things happen. And I think Huntress has that, but Huntress has her ups and downs, very clear ups and downs, right? Like, she's slower than the rest, but she has hatches to catch up with them. And it's very exciting to try to dodge all those hatches and, you know, crowds down in loops trying to avoid those hatches. She aims at you and tries to throw over things. Like, it's very exciting. It's a very rush when you go against the Huntress, in my own opinion. So yeah, S tier, love her, think she's great, wouldn't change a thing about her. Yeah, she's great. So now that I only have 4 left, I'm gonna go back to Demogorgon, and I'm gonna, because I was struggling between B and C, right? I'm gonna put him B, because if I think about all these killers, I'd rather go against a Demogorgon. But if I think about these killers, I'd rather not. I think I'd rather have these than these. She says with hesitation in her voice. I'm actually surprised I don't have that many in A, now I think about it. But yeah, I think I'm gonna put him in D. I mentioned what I dislike about him, what I like about him. Yeah, middle ground is fine. Middle ground is where I think he belongs. And, I mentioned A, so I'm gonna just be dragging on Miss Piggy herself to A. I think the pig is fun. I think she's enjoyable. When you do get tunneled with a helmet, I think it's stupid because that's the whole point. You shouldn't tunnel someone with a helmet because the helmet person isn't gonna be working on generators, so you're basically scamming yourself out of time. But I think it's funny when they do, like, okay, whatever, you basically are shooting yourself in the foot, but whatever, you do you. I think she's enjoyable. I think trying to outplay her on loops where she crouches down and tries to outplay you with her dash is fun. It's a 50-50 at that point, and sometimes you're gonna foul and it's, it's well played, and sometimes you're gonna actually make the correct choice, and then it's very exciting, like, haha, I outplayed you. I think she's fun. I don't think she's S tier, but I think she's fun. I think she's enjoyable to go against, so A for me it is. So we are left with 2 killers only, and ironically enough, those 2 killers are polar opposites of each other, and I'm just gonna be saying hasta la vista, Twins. You belong in D tier. I hate the Twins. I think after the whole rant of the nurse, I think the Twins is one of the most felt characters that Behavior has made. Why? Because she literally she has everything in her kit, and her kit forces her to do everything that is unenjoyable in this game. Like camping, slugging, like it's like, why? These 2 things are an issue in the game. Your entire survivor side of the community is complaining about these things, so why are you creating a killer that embodies that all? It doesn't make sense. And you can argue like, oh, Bubba and Hag have kind of the same thing. Yes, you're not wrong, but Bubba and Hag are earlier designs when the game was still new and the devs were still trying to figure out what was going on, and the community was still trying to figure out what was going on. The Twins is like a 2020, 2021, don't even remember character. Behavior has had so much information, knowledge, understanding of this game now, so that they made this killer that literally promotes camping and slugging and all that stuff. It didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I honestly, she is one of the character designs that I am the most disappointed by when it comes to behavior, because for me the twins is just like a, hey, either we don't give a fluff about your issues as a survivor, or we just really don't know anything about the game. And I mean, it could be both, it could be either or, it doesn't matter. It's just very frustrating to see a killer like that be made after all these issues that survivors have and all these complaints that survivors have. So don't understand, don't like her, she's annoying. You know, must I say more? She's not fun, she's unenjoyable. Being slugged and camped and all that stuff, not fun. D-tier, hater, no thank you. No thank you at all. And of course, I did this on purpose. I kept Billy lost because everyone knows that Billy is my most favorite, Oni please, my most favorite killer to go against. I love Oni, no, I love Billy. He's so much fun. And yes, I will admit, Billy is a little bit weak right now. I never agreed with the changes that they've done. The nerf was so unnecessary. They only needed to nerf their add-ons, but they decided to nerf him as well, which was a really stupid decision. And to this day, I really hope that they realize they made a mistake, which admittedly they never really do. But you know, maybe a miracle strikes us one day, and maybe one day they're gonna change him back to his old form, because he was so much fun. He still is so much fun. He's enjoyable. And you might wonder, why do I find him so fun? Because he has an insta down. That is the great thing. He has an insta down, he has a great map pressure, but I don't think he's overpowered, because he's very loopable. He's very enjoyable to make 50-50 guesses on, especially when they're gonna use his chainsaw like during the loops. It's very fun. And you know, the fun thing about him is either you win or you lose instantly. Like you it's a 50-50. And if you lose, it's very satisfying, because it's like, good job, you did it well, you pulled it off. And if you outplay him, it's like a pat on your back because you did well. It's just so much fun, and I cannot gush about Billy even more, because he's just so much fun. And I really want Billy to make a comeback on DBD, because I just love him so much. And if every game could be a Billy game, I would be the happiest person alive. But yeah, Billy, S tier, no doubt, no question, no nothing. Everyone knew this, everyone knows this. Yeah, Billy, I love you so much. But yeah, that is it for all the killers, all the 25 killers, if I'm not mistaken, I have been placed onto the tier list. This is not, of course, including the artist. The artist is coming out in a few days, but you know, I haven't played against them enough. I haven't played against her enough to put her in here and make a judgment. So I mean, maybe in a future video I will. But yeah, this is all. I hope you like this video. Let me know down in the comment section once again which choice you agree with the most and which choice you disagree with the most. I'm very curious to, you know, hear you guys tell me what you guys think, and you know, what you think I was wrong with and right with, and you know, just let me know. I'm excited to hear. But yeah, for now, this is all. I really hope you enjoyed the very first tier list onto my YouTube channel. And yeah, now to the part that every YouTuber asks for. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Bye bye, see y'all next time.